Going on, people, and welcome to the Blue Steel Podcast Show. I'm your co-host LV Live, along with my co-host Jeff. What's going on, my man?
Not much, brother. How you been?
I'm doing great, man. But it's the best time of year. It's playoff season in the NBA. NBA people, we're gonna get straight to it. This is a quick hitter that we usually do. We started doing it the last couple of weeks or so, so this is something we're gonna keep up with. So it's gonna be a quick hitter, straight to the point. What me and Jeff want to get straight to, and then later on in the week we'll end off with our major show.
Right. Exactly.
So, people, once again, please hit that like, share, subscribe button, please. Also, too, hit us up at bluesteelshow at gmail.com. Bluesteelshow at gmail.com. So, let's get straight to it. Jeff, the playoffs are on fire, my man.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, first round is usually not that great. It might be a couple series or so. But second round typically is where the real deal starts, and we definitely have that now. With these four matchups in this second round. Um, but one of the big things I wanted to kind of get into is this. I think it's an issue the NBA is going to have to address with the players and the referees. Um, it's a big. There's a lot. I mean, obviously, there's always things with plays, player two here, there in games. Everybody puts on a referee shirt and is the best official in the world. They've never done it. Um, but I see there's a lot of tension between the players and the officials. Um, and I know obviously I referee college basketball. Some people know, some people don't. But I mean, you can see it as just a casual fan. Every call is barking at the officials, and it's not a good work environment. Which is what they're doing. They're working. The players are working, so are the officials. So. I mean, what do you think about LV? Like, I know I could talk for 20 minutes about it, but as someone obviously because we have a good relationship and we talk and stuff, but what do you think about just that relationship, or how do you see that going right now?
Of course, as a fan and a former player myself, yeah, just want to let you know I used to get busy back in the day also. Uh,
Yes, sir. We do fit. Yes, sir.
but no, but of course I'm gonna have a different lens than you, Jeff. You being on the court, you calling those calls, you having the whistle. So my lens is gonna be a lot more different than yours. What I see is I see a whole bunch of whining. I mean, this is playoff
Mm-hmm.
basketball. I mean, this is what it is. Sometimes the whistles they're not gonna make those calls that they gave to you during the regular season. You got to make those big shots. If you can't come up with the big shots, they're not gonna call. Now, granted, yes, if some calls are blatant fouls, but if it's crunch time and if it's winning time, as we like to call it, you got to make the shot. You're not gonna get helped out by a foul, so you can win the game on a free throw line. No one wants to see the game end like that. I do think that the players, even though some of their calls excuse me, some of their beef might be valid in regards to some fouls, but hey, man, I put it to you like this: my beef was valid when Charles Smith was getting fouled by Jordan and Scottie Pippen when he was going up to the basket. Right? That call was valid. He was getting hacked. He was getting hacked. Play after play. You know what everybody says to this day? They say he should have went up stronger. He should have went up stronger. But you know what, Jeff? They didn't give him that call. You know why? Because it's winning time. It was crunch time in the playoffs. I think the series could have been tied, and the Knicks lost, and the Bulls went on to Chicago, and that was the series. Um,
Right.
but that's basketball. This is playoff time, and you gotta come through with it, man. I mean, that's my perspective from a player slash fan. So you can break it down some more yourself, man.
I mean, I don't even disagree. Obviously, I got another angle in terms of just being an official now. The biggest thing I see as far as me, and I just wanted to talk about this today is just um, it's getting to the point where I don't know. Like, there's always like there's when things come to a head. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like we're getting to that point. Just knowing officials and the players, the way they talk to the officials is totally like unprofessional. I mean, the language, there's nowhere in the world you would talk to somebody like that or get up in their face like that or say those things except on a basketball court in the NBA. This was anywhere else, there'd be a fight at minimum. You know what I mean? So there needs to be. I don't know what the NBA can do. Is the NBA is so star driven and so player driven but there has to be something that has to be done because that's what a lot of the talk is about is the officiating and the players complaining and whining as opposed to the game, which is what it really should be about. It's a great game, great athletes, great players. And believe it or not, these are the best officials in the world in the NBA. You don't make it. It's just like the players, and there's less officials than there are players. So this is the elite of the elite, and getting there, they're extremely cutthroat. So you're not going to be like a bad official at that level. Now, as far as how they communicate, different things like that, I heard things about different officials. And some players don't like talking to these officials, but they talk crazy to the officials. If you're an adult, grown man, you're not going, or women as well, you're not going to let people talk to you crazy. Now, they don't say it back to them, but, you just get ignored, or you don't get to talk to them anymore. And unfortunately, until the respect has to be there, that's the big word, respect. There's not a lot of respect in my opinion, from the players to the officials. And sometimes the officials do it too. But I feel like it's just the verbal altercations and the verbal, abuse, literally, that the players give needs to be curtailed, man. You can't talk to people like that, literally. Ultimately, it's a game. It's basketball. Of course, you making millions of dollars. The officials are getting paid very well also. But, I just think, much as I like Adam Silver, that needs to be addressed this year. I don't know what they're going to do ultimately. I've even heard things like adding a fourth official, which they tried out in some of the summer league stuff. It would help in terms of angles and different things like that. But if you have 4, 5, 6, 7 officials, it don't matter if the players don't act a certain way and act with respect. It doesn't matter how many people are out there. Because calls are going to be missed no different than you miss shots, miss layups, miss free throws, miss three-pointers that are wide open. Nobody's perfect. So ultimately, I just hope things don't get really ugly at some point. Because I feel like it's ugly now, but it can get worse, which I don't want to see ultimately. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely valid in everything you said. I mean, I agree. I just don't want it to get caught up in the refs. This has nothing to do with the refs. You
right.
know, James Harden felt it.
What's something we always learned growing up?
Yeah.
Don't blame it on the refs.
Yeah, don't blame. Yeah, right. Just go out there and play. Well said, Jeff. And my thing is that if James Harden is worth every penny, he got to make them shots. Period.
Right.
He's coming down. When I was growing up, there was never a rule on giving a player a landing spot. If he got up in your face and you put up for a jumper and you land and twisted your ankle, that was it. It wasn't a foul. Now, granted, people may feel it is. Just play ball, man. It's the playoffs. It's the playoffs. That's it. Don't try to get all tough now. Even Chris Paul doing backdoor stuff. He's always been kind of up and down and flaky with the refs. That's just what he does.
He not have a good reputation with the refs. I'll tell you that right now. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Right, and so he's always kind of close to getting ejected. But if you notice though, it's not the role players; it's the star players.
That's the problem.
The star players are the ones who are doing the most. You know what I mean? Guys who are solid players, who are actually big parts of the team, they're doing the less. It's the stars that are doing all the crying, all the whining. It's just way too much. It's way too much crying, man. They cry even if they're hacking a guy. They expect not to be a call. It's a clear foul, man.
Right. That happens all the time.
It's a clear foul. And here's the thing. Listen, I'm being honest. When it's 2 minutes in a game and it's close, if someone's down by 2 or up by 1 or whatever, yo, man, you better just be prepared to play ball. Don't be looking for calls.
Right.
And and you're right, man. There's got to be more done for these refs. They got to feel safer, and I totally agree with you, man. So I'm on the referee side on this. I'm gonna walk around my referee shirt all weekend and promote for you, Jeff. And I'm gonna promote for you all for the refs.
Well, we appreciate that, man.
Thank you. Let's give the refs $1 million contracts. Come on, let's do that. Let's promote that right here on this show.
They make good money in the league. That's for sure. They make very good money, especially guys that have got been on staff for years.
Hey, Jeff. Let's promote $1.5 million contracts for the refs. How about that? Let's do that promotion.
That'd be cool. I'm sure they wouldn't mind that. So players making a lot more than that. So
yeah, you got that right. So here's a question before we kind of get up out of here. I mean, how do you feel about the series, man? What do you think about this second round? What do you think was going to happen these series?
Golden State, I think they'll win Game 3, but that'll be over in 5. Portland and Denver, I think that might, man.
That can go 7.
I was gonna say that. I could go 7. I give Portland a slight edge. But being in Denver, that might be tough for them to win that. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Portland just because of Dame, Dame time, man, even balling. I'm gonna go other than the East, it's tough, man. I think Boston's gonna end up winning just because they won that game. For some reason, I feel like they kind of got Milwaukee. I don't want to say figured out, but Milwaukee should win. But that loss is gonna hurt them. They need to win tonight in order to win the series. If Milwaukee lose tonight, they're not gonna win the series. To me, in the Philly series, I think Philly gonna win. I think, it's basically, Kawhi and whatchamacallit, I forget his name right at the time for some reason.
It's on Lowry?
Versus no, not Lowry. Lowry's been playing like garbage. The dude, I can't remember his name right now. He's African. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, I like him, man.
That's it.
Scowy or something.
It's been him and Kawhi. Lowry don't ever come up. He don't never show up in the playoffs, man. Never has. So yeah, what did he have yesterday? Like 7 points or something like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey Jeff.
Like $20 million a year, man. Yeah. You gotta come with more than that.
Yeah, but Jeff. Period. You know what the problem is? Toronto has nobody for Embiid, man. They have nobody for Embiid. Nobody.
No, they don't.
And that's
which
the issue.
Is, he's the most dominant player. Well, Kawhi's been balling though. He's been balling.
Yeah, but they have nobody that can stop Embiid. Marc Gasol is a shell of himself. He ain't what he was.
Yeah, he's not like he used to be. So I mean, and then we'll talk about that maybe later this weekend on the full show. That where's Kawhi gonna go? So I don't think he's gonna stay there.
No, you're definitely right about that. Definitely right. Hey, man, listen, everybody, please. The refs need $1.5 million guaranteed contracts. We gotta promote. Save the refs. Keep the refs safe. All right, Jeff?
Appreciate it, man. Just for subscription purposes, we got you on YouTube. It's Blue Steel Show. Instagram is Blue Steel Show. On Twitter at Show Steel. Email is bluesteelshow@gmail.com. As always, it'll be always good to do it. We will have another episode later this weekend, a full episode, but this quick hit is probably over, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Great job, my man.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Peace.